It's every married woman's nightmare to feel like you're getting replaced by someone younger, better than you. I mean, isn't that what people usually think? The younger, the better. Jenner had been with Mark Gerard for 24 years. And he's just going to move on like she never existed all through his life. So she did the unthinkable and left both Mark and the world in shock. This is the story of Jenner Gerard. Hey guys, welcome to True Crime Comment Quest, where we delve into the mysteries of true crime cases that may or may not have been overlooked. This story today was gotten from Baby Sarah's comment section by the name Erin Whipple 4666 and saying, "I'm so glad to see you again. I would love to hear you cover the case of Mark and Jenner Gerardots and Meredith Chapman." So let's dive right in. Jenner is a 47-year-old woman who was married to Mark Gerard. Just like any marriage, they had problems over the course of the 24 years that they had been together, but they've been overcoming it all this while. Mark kind of had problems with money, providing, and generally had financial constraints. So he got a new job at Delaware and moved there first before Jenner would join him later. Meanwhile, Jenner was trying to shut things down and probably leave her job so she can be ready to move in with him at Delaware. As at the time Mark was there, he had met a lady called Meredith Chapman, who was married to a man called Lake Chapman. But Meredith had already informed Mark that she was getting a divorce. Within the first 4 months of meeting each other, they had both shared their first kiss. Meredith Chapman was a former University of Delaware teacher who ran for Senate for 2 years. A very smart, beautiful, and intelligent lady who just moved to Radnor Township, about to divorce her husband, who she had been married to since 2008. Within the first 4 weeks of meeting each other, they had both shared their first kiss already. At this point, Jenner had already shut down everything she needed to shut down where she was living with Mark at the time and transferred to Delaware to finally be and live with her husband. But when she got there, she noticed something was off. He started acting distant, so she decided to get to the bottom of it and try to find out why. He started acting distant as at the time she moved there, like immediately. So she saw GPS and recording devices into his coats and cars. After listening to some conversations that Mark was having in the car, in the house when she's not around, she finally knew her name. The woman that Mark had been cheating with all this while, and she also would search his phone when he's asleep and took screenshots of the hundreds of Snapchat messages that deletes within 24 hours. Jenner also somehow found Meredith Chapman's location and planted a GPS in her car. Yeah, she did that. This was not close to all she did. Jenner sent the screenshots and audio recordings of Chapman and Mark's recordings to Chapman, who is Meredith's husband, by the way, but they were already going through a divorce. So I think this just sped the divorce up, because not up to a week later, Luke filed for divorce. Jenner decided after this that she wanted to go for couples therapy with Mark, and maybe they would be able to fix their marriage or find a way to work things out. Mark agreed, and they eventually went for counseling. But in that room of the counseling unit, when the therapist asked Mark why he wanted a divorce, he said, "Everything just feels so repetitive. It's just the same thing day in, day out. I just want a change." Which I cannot even imagine that Jen heard someone she has spent the last 24 years with saying that everything is repetitive in and out. It's a marriage. It's supposed to be repetitive. Yes, you can spice things up here and there, but it's just crazy that he actually said that to her, like in her face. I mean, it's just like, what do you think is going to happen with you and Meredith? Like in 20 years, things are not going to eventually be the same. Come on, Mark. Come on. They get home that day and the atmosphere is very awkward. "She's living my fucking life and I'm going to jump out a window." Whoa. Calm down. Calm down, Jenner. We're going to talk this through, we're going to try to calm you down, because Jenner was going off. She was losing her mind, and Mark had nothing else to do because he was set on the fact that he wanted to divorce her. So there was nothing else that she was going to do to stop this. So he tries to calm her down, and I think this seemed to annoy her even more than she was already. So Jenna goes to bed and master plans her next move, because there's no way she's going to allow this woman steal her life. She's been working for this for the last 24 years, and I'm not just going to let someone from nowhere scoop up my hard work when she did absolutely nothing. Mark leaves for work in the morning, and then she dresses up with a wig, coat, and hat. Also with binoculars to go to Meredith's neighborhood. And this is just very strange to me, because, I mean, if you were trying to not look suspicious, like, I mean, I think you did the opposite of that, like, Jenner. Like, that was, like, so, like, anybody could literally, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she was thinking when wearing the binoculars and everything. I mean, so she went to Meredith's neighborhood and she scoped the scene out. Kind of like she wanted to confirm that Meredith actually lived there, so as not to make a mistake. But she does nothing and goes back to the house. But before she stops at home, she buys a 357 revolver gun, 357 revolver gun. Not until Monday afternoon of 23rd April 2018, when all she had been planning was to take effect. Jenna watched Mark leave the house, and she dressed up disguised as the day she went to stalk her. She took a train to where Meredith lives and started sending messages to Mark. I made a wrong turn, so I'm going to be late. It's followed up with 2 other messages saying, I am not going to be coming home tonight. And then another one that says, you've ruined my life and I hope you never find happiness. Bye, Mark. What I don't know is if Mark saw these messages immediately it was sent. No one seems to have known the exact time Mark had seen the messages. But moving forward, Mark was supposed to meet up with Meredith later. Well, at least that was the plan. So Jenna got to Meredith's house and broke in through the glass door. She cleaned up the glass that was shattered all over the floor, obviously, so that she's not suspicious when she comes to her doorstep. So Meredith comes in through the driveway, parks her car. She just got groceries. She's about to go in and probably just put her groceries into the fridge, freshen up so she could go meet Mark, where she and he decided that they were going to meet up at a particular restaurant or whatever. Immediately Meredith walked in, she shot her in the head, then pointed the gun at herself and shot herself. Mark felt something was wrong when Meredith did not respond, so he decided to run down to meet her. At the same time, a neighbor had heard 2 gunshots earlier and had already phoned the police. On the police arriving to the scene, the front exterior was locked, so they went to the back and saw Mark on his cell phone, visibly upset. I mean, this was the exact word that the police used, visibly upset. Like, I expected that he would be crying at this point, seeing both his wife and his lover are dead. I mean, most especially his ex-wife, but it seems like he didn't really care as much. I don't know. So the police obviously did not have much to investigate, because this was an obviously planned out and thought out murder-suicide, and they had places Jenna was around the time before this murder-suicide, because at 2:40 p.m. she was seen to have stopped by at a gas station close by. This case went super viral, and at first Mark found it very hard to share his story. But after a year, he had done some interviews where he spoke about a 15-page letter that Jenna wrote before the incident. And in that letter, she claimed that if he had walked in while she was trying to carry out the murders, she would have shot him too. He did not share the full letter to the public, but a doctor he gave the letter to read said that she displayed all 9 criteria of borderline personality disorder. And which is kind of weird, because how do you get that from just one letter? You don't know the emotions that someone wrote that letter in, it could have just been, I don't know, but according to Mark, he regrets his actions and wishes things did not play out the way that they did. He also published a book called Irreparable 3 Lives. That's like with a colon, one story that has to be told. That is the end of this case. That was a wild love triangle case, and honestly, most people will not understand the kind of pain Jenna went through to have done this. Neither would we understand Mark's pain of the after effect. So I believe that Mark has learned his lesson now, and just want to know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think? Because I was, just So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.